Hello, and welcome to another aspect of the Urban Tree Festival. I'm Garrett Quayle. I'm the author of Botanical Shakespeare with beautiful illustrations by Sumie Hasegawa Collins, and we were very kindly invited to participate by a man called Simon Edwards, who developed the TiCL app. What is that? And how do you get tickled? It's actually an app to map trees around you. Because, like Shakespeare, there's something that we kind of take for granted. And they both involve breathing. Trees breathe out so we can breathe in. They're sort of nature's healthcare workers. And so Simon has developed this way of getting to know them a little better wherever you happen to be. It's your participation that makes it work. So, I thought because of the wall of text on his website, it might be better for us to have a conversation to understand how it works. Because where life hath no more interest but to breathe. Simon
Hmm.
Edwards, welcome to
Thank you very much.
exploration of the Tickle Me Tree app.
Lovely to be here, and thank you for inviting me. I wanted to share the Tickle app and tell you about it. It's being used across the country by friends groups and uh, individuals to create tree trails for their local parks.
How did this come about in the first place?
All right. Okay. At the beginning, the idea was to create a system for sharing local information, local points, particularly points of interest, in a way that people could show each other where things were. Because the idea is about locality, really, and that there's an awful lot on our doorsteps, but
Yes.
actually we know about and we could tell other people about. And if they found and appreciated the things around them a little bit more, everyone would have a better time.
Okay, what I love about this idea is
Mm,
the thing that I think trees and Shakespeare have in common are
mm,
is that there are things that people take for granted. Shakespeare's always there. Oh, I know that. Oh, yeah, to be and not to be. I know that. Oh, yeah, the trees. But now,
mm,
in this particular situation we're in with COVID and the
mm,
people in lockdown or quarantine or whatever they are,
mm,
Shakespeare has exploded. You
mm,
so many free um, shows and theatrical experiences online that were not available before from the National and
mm,
the Globe and the
mm,
public and multiple areas. I
mm,
even one called Sofa Shakespeare.
mm.
Uh, did one called Shakespeare with Benefits. So everybody's Shakespeare,
Mm,
and people I think are noticing nature like they had kind of taken
mm,
for granted before.
mm, mm,
Um, some of us can't go outside except for limited periods of time. So, of course,
mm,
desire
mm.
to be there.
Yeah.
Also, this focus on breathing. COVID
Mm,
is about the breathing, and trees sort of are there so we can breathe. They
mm.
so we can inhale, you know,
Yeah.
vice versa. And it's sort of this lovely symbiotic relationship. And maybe we should take care a little bit more about this aspect that we're in a very
Mm,
close living relationship with. So, having said that,
mm,
you
mm.
when did you shift from, oh, this is something interesting, to trees specifically?
Well, I didn't really shift it. The thing is, I didn't really know. To be honest, thought this was an idea, but I didn't really know what it was going to be used for or who was going to be using it. And then some a friends group picked it up, a local friends group, and made this tree trail with it. And um, it was it was a sort of bit of a revelation to me that they'd done that. And actually, thinking about it, it makes a whole load of sense because actually people, as you say, Garrett, trees I think are a bit of a like wallpaper in our lives,
Yes,
and actually, or
like
can
what's
be.
behind you right
And
now.
And actually, like, so like the stuff behind me, this is wallpaper, exactly, these are trees. But what trees are they? Actually, it's a really good point. You know, what are these trees? Okay, the ones on this shoulder, okay, no, this side, they are lime trees, okay, and the ones on this shoulder
In
are
Shakespeare.
plain trees, okay,
Also in Shakespeare.
or as exactly. So
So say Sally, Sally, whatever, has gone to Wandsworth Park. I know you did one on Wandsworth. Let's pick another
yeah,
one. James Park. And she's going through there and she's enamored with this tree or that tree, and she wants to make Sally's path through St. James Park. Is that what she would do?
she can do it. And I'll show you in just a couple of minutes how
Okay.
that can be done and just how easy that can be done.
Okay. And if she doesn't want to do that, she can follow Bob's
Someone
path.
someone else's trail.
Okay.
And the more attached they are to the locality, the more involved they are with the locality, the better that is, the better sort of quality it will be. So a friends group has a real interest in understanding the trees, following the trees. Perhaps somebody who just drops in and drops out
Mhm.
um, isn't the best person to be doing that. They might do one on their own street or in their own patch. But
Right.
the person looking after the area, looking after or with a special interest in it, will create something really amazing,
Right.
absolutely amazing, um, and will open it up for any visitor that goes there. And don't underestimate, a tree trail doesn't have to be somewhere. You mentioned St James's Park and Wandsworth Park. These are beautiful London parks. I recommend you visit them, and the Friends group's fantastic. But a really good tree trail is just the trees along your street. Why not just make sure when we started this and I realized it was becoming a tree, there were going to be trees all over it. I went along my street and I asked people what the tree outside their house was. Okay.
Mm,
And as they were coming out of their front garden, or when I caught them in their front garden, and nobody knew what the tree was. And I said, look, I'm creating this system that's gonna, could easily be used so that we could tell you what, or one of the tree wardens in the street could tell you what these trees are. And they say, do you know, I don't know what the trees, but I would really like to know, and that's what it's about. You don't have to go more than 20 feet from your front door to find something extraordinary that you knew nothing about.
well,
Okay.
it's funny. I was just thinking,
Um,
we were talking
mm,
that we in New York hang out of our apartment building windows every 7 p.m. and yell and scream and ring bells and
yes.
for the healthcare workers. And I keep noticing every day the trees are more and more in leaf. And I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
There's
Hey.
one tree that's
Wow.
blooming and
There we are.
why? But we don't have, I don't think we have tree wardens that would, what's the tree warden?
Okay, so what's tree warden? That's a very good question. So there are loose networks of individuals who take an interest, just ordinary citizens who take an interest in their local trees. Okay, tree
Okay.
wardens. These were people set up by the Tree Council of Great Britain some years ago. I'm afraid I don't know the history of it very well. But the Tree Council looks after the tree warden groups. Having said that, the Tree Council tree wardens, for each one of those, there are lots of people who look after trees and are interested in trees who aren't officially tree wardens.
Right.
So there's a big network of people out there who actually are interested in their local trees, would call themselves tree wardens, but may not be affiliated to an organisation. They are rapidly becoming affiliated with TiCL, okay?
Well, that's
because they've got an outlet for their knowledge, which is brilliant.
fantastic.
Okay,
That's
that's the fantastic thing to,
But
yeah.
first of all, two things about TiCL.
Mm.
three things. One,
Three things.
can it be international?
Oh, it is international. It's open everywhere. I must say, it's mainly used in Britain and in Europe a little bit.
The other thing is, now you said you that it's free, there's no cost, all this stuff.
Mm.
So did you bear all the cost of developing?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, well that's very generous of
100%.
you.
Mm.
Um, and you're a GP, right?
I am, yes, actually. I am.
And so is this connected to your
Uh,
health?
there's no direct link, Garrett. I think I must say I've been a GP for a long time. I think if one thing general practice does is sort of gives you an idea of locality and location, and a strong awareness of that. And I think I'm quite a believer in localism, and I think a lot of today's problems are to do with a lack of attention of locality.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times localities could sort out stuff for themselves, do you know?
Right.
And I think that idea that we can help each other locally
Yeah.
is something to do with me being a GP. I don't know. Although actually, in somewhere in Bermondsey, somebody has put a lot of locations that are to do with health and natural health on a map, and that's got it on our map, and that's got an implication for health, obviously.
Well,
And they were very simple things. They were things like public toilets and benches and as well as some self-help places people could just turn up.
well, that was
So
my question is, even though it kind of evolved in this really wonderful way into trees, you can have points of interest and other things on there as well, right?
It's up, as I say, it's about creating a map and navigation to help tell a story. The story you tell is up to you. And because it's a white label app, the thing is developed, all we're really doing is just maintaining it and excitedly telling everyone about the wonderful things that are being put on it. White label means white label. All by that I mean if one was thinking of creating an app for one's location, say a trail of trees in Wandsworth Park, Wandsworth Park might have to develop a solution for that, a website and an app, and doing that would be extremely expensive. Okay, but they could just come along to me or us and say, I'd like to create a website and a web page and an app to help people explore my park. And it's free. They don't have to, there's nothing to develop. The system is there to be used, and it's free. And because they create it, these trails, and they put the information on, it's effectively like another social media channel for them. It becomes their trail in the same way that they have a Facebook page or a Twitter handle. They have a TiCL map.
Right.
Okay. So they can update it, adjust it, put out information, link to their website, all of these things which interact with their other social media.
I know you brought some images for us to look at to help illustrate how it works, right?
Yeah, I'd love to show you.
Okay.
It probably does. You pointed out that it needed a bit of explaining, and I'm very grateful, I must say, to you guys for this option. So what we're looking at here, I've just literally taken some screenshots from the app. So if we just go back, yes, there we are, to that first one. What we're seeing here, this is a sort of typical view you would get when you open up the app for the first time. Okay,
Okay.
so that's the front page. And what you see are trails, collections of trails, collections of information near you. Everything on TiCL is ordered by proximity. So your nearest opportunity to you on TiCL is always at the top of the list. Okay,
Okay.
that's the principle of TiCL, really. You're the nearest opportunity. If you're actually at a point of interest, it will be at the top of the list. Okay.
That's helpful. But
Yeah. So
stalking
that's very easy.
don't mind.
You don't have to search for anything. It's just there. Is the thing. So at the bottom of that list, you will see that there's one called Shakespeare's Tree Trail, Wandsworth.
Right.
Okay. So if you click on that, we can go to the next page, and here it is, all open out, reminding you this is now this was we thought about this because of your book, Garrett. Is your wonderful book on trees, plants and Shakespeare quotes, and we thought, wouldn't it be lovely if you could just go round a park, okay, and go to the trees, find the trees that occur in Shakespeare's plays, and then find out those quotes, okay, just as you're standing by the tree. Okay, that's like an extension of the tree trail. It would be, but it would be just like getting poetry as you walked around a park. Okay,
Well, it kind of
so
goes back to the breath thing I was talking about. If you're next to this, ostensibly breathing tree, and then you speak, there's so much breath that's required for Shakespeare.
mm,
Um,
mm,
change. But if you don't already know what the tree is, I guess
yeah. Well,
lying on
we
the
will
tickle mat.
exactly. Well, I can show you that now. So here is a list of the trees that we're going to talk about effectively. So we've gone into that Shakespeare's Trail, and you'll see that the top tree would be the one you were nearest, okay,
Okay.
which is a yew tree, and it starts one of the Shakespeare quotes here on the yew tree. Now, supposing you don't know what the yew tree looks like, I think the thing you do is you can go and have a look at it, okay? And you'll see that it's top of the list, so you know that's the nearest one you can go and have a look at and think about, okay? So you press on the Direct Me button or the picture. And if you click on the picture, here's the yew tree.
Wow.
You know what you're looking for, okay? And then if you press the Direct Me button, which is the next one, a little. This is so fun. Okay, this is the best bit of TiCL. Okay, I think this little arrow walks you to it. Okay, and it's like it's a little compass arrow, and it swings around, and it
Okay.
points to the tree, and it says how far it is, and you walk to the tree. Okay, simple as that. Okay, and you know you're there because it says 0 meters and there's a picture, so you know you're at the right tree. And it's not like you have to do, with some things where you have to check, is this the right sort of leaf or is this the right sort of thing? You can tell you're at the right tree because it is exactly a picture of that exact tree. Okay,
Right.
so there's no question that you are at a yew tree.
So
Okay.
barring masses of snow, you'll be able to recognize it.
Yes, well, even snow, if you've got the branches, you can see which
Right.
way the branches go. You'd even recognise it then. And if the picture does change, the friends group can update the picture, and change the picture so that they can update it for different seasons. They could update it for different, when something changed. If a bench went in nearby, they could update it so that there was a picture of the bench or something with the tree.
So it's basically kind of a Google Earth, like a microcosm of Google Earth in a way.
Yes, it is, except with stuff that's, instead of being chosen by Google, it's been chosen by real people
Real users.
who actually know the environment. I love you. I'm glad you mentioned Google Earth, because I always have a laugh, you know, that Google must, yeah, gosh, what an enormous company, you know, and how fabulous. Google Earth is fabulous, isn't it? Until you home in on the trees, okay, they're they're pixelated monsters, aren't they? You know, you can't tell one tree from another. They are that background. And yet our listeners, our audience are are saying not only the type of tree, but the species, the variety, where it was bought, what its provenance is. They're really telling you a massive amount. It's like a sort of a Wikipedia, a local Wikipedia of everything. So let's go on. I just want to go on because of the so you would have found that yew tree, and then you just click on the yew tree, and then you'd go to the next page, and here are the Shakespeare quotes associated with it. So Paris under yond yew tree lay thee all along, holding thine ear close to the hollow ground. So shall no foot upon the churchyard tread, being loose, unfirm with digging up of graves, but thou shalt hear it. Romeo and Juliet. And you can just think and meditate on that. And just, you know, just on the things, why are, you know, it lets you think, why are yews associated with graves all the time, and in churchyards? You know, he was talking about that. He understood that.
The churchyards, because in the olden days, when people, in order to go to church, had to bring all their cattle and you know, various livestock with them, they ended up eating all the foliage around the church, and so it looked quite bare. So they started planting yew trees, which are poisonous.
Yeah.
And the animals instinctively knew that they were poisonous, so they didn't eat the vegetation, and that's how the yew ended up in church.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah. That's amazing. Amazing.
It's not the berries that are poisonous. It's the other parts of it. The berry part is that the red, beautiful part that attracts birds and things like that. That's not the poisonous bit.
No, they are edible. Actually, it's just the seed inside is horrible, deadly. But I've never actually dared try one.
No,
But,
let's not.
no, but, and I don't think we're recommending it. So basically, and all the quotes associated with yew trees are on the list here. So you can just go down and think while you're at the tree, while you're looking at the tree. It's just a way of thinking about the Shakespeare quotes. There's also, I should say, for more information about the tree, each of these points of interest has a web link, so you can go, say, to the Woodland Trust and find out about the sort of the science of the trees. But this is more about the poetry of the trees. Do you know?
Yes.
This is more about the meaning that has been given these trees. That's why I wanted to show you this Shakespeare trail. That's why you know, this is the one you've inspired from us for the Urban Tree Festival.
Do you have more images to show us?
Yes, I just wanted very quickly, if you don't mind, to show you how easy it is to create one of these trails. Okay. This is really boring slide, and but I only wanted to show you it because you put in a tiny little bit of text at the top, like this is a Shakespeare's tree trail, okay, and read the quotes below, and then you take a picture, okay, of the tree, and then you press submit, okay, where you're standing by the tree. And the whole system does everything else for you. If you go to the next slide, this is just the way you would add subsequent things to the trail. So subsequent trees or quotes to the trail. A little text box where you put in what you want to say, and a way of uploading a photo, and again pressing submit from where it is. And that's it, done.
If I propose to my boyfriend or girlfriend in that, And are there multiple pictures of the same tree that do people?
For the trail, you have one picture. Or let's make, this is where you propose to your boyfriend. How about we create a lover's trail? Okay. How about we add the place where and pictures of couples and where they proposed?
Yes.
Okay. And yours is the start of that. Wouldn't that be lovely? You've just come up with that idea. And that point, then somebody else in the future can go around and go, oh, you know, this is where we propose to so and so, and this is where, you know. But that's telling a bit of a story about love in the park,
Exactly.
rather than so it would have to be connected to other things about love to be most effective and for us to keep it on. When you think about a park the size of Richmond Park or something, if there were 4 or 5 trails, it gives you 4 or 5 reasons to come back and see the park in different ways at different times. So we're quite happy to have lots and lots of different trails in one park, and there can be cross sort of pollination of them as well. Actually, it comes a little bit later, but one trail can link to another and connect with another, so that you're led on through and into different stories and different opportunities. As we've just moved on, I'm also going to say everything you've done just there, you've used the app, but you've created with that. With just adding those pictures, you've created a static URL, okay, which is of the whole trail, everything you've added. This is available not just on the app, but on the you know, it's on the web, just on the web. You don't have to be registered. You don't have to have an app. You don't have to have a smartphone. Anyone can see that. So it's been published to the web, and is your own map. So if Wandsworth Park do that, this is branded effectively from Wandsworth Park. We branded it with your lovely picture of Shakespeare's trees here. But Wandsworth Park, if they had done it, that page would be branded as if it was their, and indeed it is, their own park and their own page, and connects with their stuff. They've created the story, which is a story of Shakespeare in their park. They've created navigation, a map that shows people around their park, and they're telling a story of Shakespeare, and they've created a way of for people to navigate around the park and find the trees. And that's what it's all about.
That's exciting. I mean, it's exciting to me. I hope it's exciting to other people. I don't understand the part where you don't have to have a smartphone or an iPhone, because don't you have to have that to access the map or to put in the trees of your own?
If you're creating a trail, you definitely need the smartphone and the app. Okay. No doubt about it. But once you've created, the thing you create is available both on the smartphone but also on the web. Right. It's not like you've locked it app. you've actually freed it to the web. Okay. So that anyone can look at it. So in these days of where we're all stuck at home, actually there is a way of looking at the trees of Wandsworth Park from your computer. And if you had that where you live in New York, Garrett, you would know what that tree was that you're waving at and clapping at every day, because there would be a map.
Well, the other thing that I think is actually fantastic for going forward, and however we're going to navigate the world post-COVID or transitioning, is that you can social distance this way. It's a way for you to go through, and people might be experiencing the same thing, but you can have this trail and you have company on the trail. If you choose a Shakespeare one, you've got Shakespeare with you, you've got Shakespeare's quotes with you, and you can go to the trees, and you can certainly hug the tree if you can't hug the person next
Absolutely, Garrett. Absolutely.
But you know what? It's good for them. It's good for you. Just do it. So Nick and I are going to go out into New York and try to make tree trails so that
Wonderful.
New York ones, and just give this thing a try and answer any questions. Oh, I think we'll all be able to, or be available for people who have questions about how to make it work. Right?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay, great.
Do.
Can you think of any questions that I haven't covered that are really important for somebody to know about getting it on their phone, getting out there and using it? You're a whiz, so.
I don't think so. I mean, the one question that I might have for somebody specific like that, is there a way to, in the app, like contact with a question? Like if they don't understand a particular feature, is there like a
best thing to contact is at the bottom of that website link, which is the email address for our contact team, which is contact@TiCL.me. Okay. Great. And straight through to that. I also want to say that we're really active on Twitter, and we love Twitter. And actually, that's quite important because these hyper-local trails can be promoted through a national organisation. Do you know, like and we have quite at TiCL.me has quite a following and quite a lot of influence. So we can actually point quite specifically to local initiatives quite effectively. So it's you also get some advertising for your trail. But to contact @TiCL.me or direct message through Twitter @TiCL.me.
Okay. Well, great question, Nick. Great answers, Simon. Thank you so much for doing this. For people like me who go, I'm not quite getting this. Help me. So now hopefully we've expanded the ability to get out there and find your tree. And
have fun with it and share it and love it, Garrett. Thank you.
And find us all on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and we will.
Yeah. And can we say join us all for the Urban Tree Festival as well?
Urban Tree Festival starts the 16th to the 24th. It was in person. It's going to be online. I'm amazed at how many different programs there are, from meditation and yoga to histories of trees, poetry, other poetry besides Shakespeare and trees.
Poetry.
So many different things. Yes, exactly. Thank you. So
fantastic.
Join the Urban Tree Festival coming up. And thank you.
That's it, Nick. Wonderful. Thank you. Garrett, thank you so much.
Thank you, Simon. See you soon.